Well, I thought I'd use the morning light and tell you all about Snowdon 100, a fantastic race that I would highly recommend, a race with GB Ultra. It's actually happened a few weeks back, but it's taken me some time to come to terms with it and to just come around the idea that I actually finished, and it was tough for me. So I booked this race very last minute, only because I felt I can cash in on my other event, which I loved. Only 5 weeks back, I did a big mountain 100. Loved it, everything fantastic. And of course, when I towed the line at Snowdon, I didn't realize just how unrecovered I was. So wonderful that my preparation was, and my fitness, I felt very unrecovered. The first part of Snowdon is really a very tough 50 where you climb up Tree Fan and Snowdon and the Glithers. I hope I don't butcher that name, but yeah, quite the route. And any other time I would absolutely love it, and I did love it, but I suffered a lot. I must say the GB Ultra's 8 stations are brilliant, and you're allowed to crew, so my husband was crewing pretty much everywhere, and frankly, without him, I don't think I would have finished. There was a point in the second part towards the last checkpoint where, had he not shouted from the crowd from afar, going, "You're going to be timed out, you need to go faster," and me kind of feeling very sorry for myself, pushing along what felt like the most enormous hill, but it wasn't a hill. It was probably about 200 feet up. It was challenging. The route itself, I would suggest you have to have mountain experience, and you have to be prepared to be very tuned to scrambling and just keep moving. The terrain is pretty harsh. However, like I said, the times allowed for cut-offs and whatnot are very generous, and in fact I would say if you want to have a good experience, use as much of that time, because you probably can be less knackered by the time you complete whichever section. And all in all, a fantastic organized race, but for me a massive sufferfest. I think anything that could have gone wrong went wrong, starting with my watch dying completely, and I was very lucky that I was running with someone who knew the place pretty well, and so I kind of followed that until I was able to reset my watch back at the Betsy Code, the starting point, because obviously you're doing a loop, and you kind of come back to the starting point at the 50, and then whilst the 50 go and have a cup of tea and some food, then the rest of us, we hit the road again for the second part. There's a lot of bog, and if you were to do this race, you've got to have a plan for foot care. For me, I prepare quite a while away, maybe about 10 days or a week. I would say I scrape all the old bits of skin, all the harsh kind of rough stuff around the corners of the heel, around the places that are a little bit kind of beaten, and I then do use a lot of Flexitol, which is a fabulous cream. I think it's about $5 from Amazon. Well worth having that around in your house. And once my feet are lovely and soft and yummy to touch, then I tend to then go and spend some time with the trench. Okay, so trench foot is a real possibility if you're to do this race. So you do want to use a cream that's also a cold trench, and it's just amazing. So loads of change of socks as well, I would say. So yeah, have a good foot care going on. And I happen to just completely kind of lose my digestive system's abilities at some point very early on. I normally have such a good I never suffer really with my belly. I can digest galvanized steel, I think. I'm very good at eating and running, and this time my belly did not play ball, and I basically ran most of it, I would say probably from quarter of the way, literally on watermelon. So not great way to feed yourself. I was very fatigued, I was very tired, and frankly any other time I would probably having to stop, but I don't know, really loved the scenery, really loved the camaraderie, really loved so many things, and tried different food. I suppose have things that are different. My husband was amazing to try different things, or have different things for me to try. But yeah, so a lot of suffering. I ended up coming on at some point as well, which was not fun. And yeah, the bugs were practically endless. And what I would say about Snowdon 100 is I would definitely do it again. However, maybe not very soon. Somehow I did bag myself second lady, and that was out of 2 ladies, and the first one was only seconds away from me. So that's bizarre. And I was the last person of 15 to finish. I think 35 people started, so that tells you a little bit about the kind of I suppose severity of the event. But yes, I will do it again. In fact, someone said to me that this first section is one of the routes for Dragon's Back. So I did feel quite epic at that point, thinking, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing it well, until everything just went downhill from there. Anyway, as a little something for my experience, like I said, highly recommended, and just prepare for it. Any questions you have, anything that you might think could be useful as information, reach out always. Okay, thank you.